Welcome to the Stoic Responder Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Healy. As a special agent who spent more than 15 years conducting large-scale fraud, money laundering, and public corruption investigations, Stoic philosophy provided a mindset edge that became the foundation of my professional success. My mission today is to share those same ancient mindset lessons with you so that you can turn obstacles into opportunities and adversity into advantage. Time to muster up. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoic Responder Podcast. This is episode 57, The World Does Not Care. All right, as I said, welcome back to the Stoic Responder. And before we get started, I want to remind you of our favorite 501c3, and that, of course, is the Overwatch Collective. Overwatch Collective is a nonprofit and podcast funding therapy sessions and supporting mental health initiatives for our first responders, our veterans, and their families. The motto over there is one more is one less. And I take that to heart because one more individual that we can provide services to is one less potential statistic. Folks, we talk a lot about this on the podcast, about mental resilience and mental health and mental wellness. I read a statistic the other day that an average of 184 law enforcement officers a year take their lives. It's heavy. I know I had a colleague who took his life back when I worked with ICE. It's heavy. And I deeply appreciate what the people of the Overwatch Collective are doing by providing therapy services to our first responders, making sure that anybody who needs or wants somebody to talk to gets those services that they need. So it's one less colleague of yours, one less colleague of mine becoming a statistic. So check them out over at the overwatchcollective.com. Another company that I want to give a shout out to that I'm super grateful is out there doing their thing is Blue Badge Coffee Company. Blue Badge provides customers with the absolute best, highest quality premium coffee, but they also take a portion of every sale and donate it to law enforcement agencies around our great nation to assist them in funding and maintaining peer support and wellness programs for their officers. These programs are crucial for physical and mental well-being of hardworking officers in law enforcement agencies across our country. You guys can order one of their premium roasts, get a couple of bags of coffee, some sweet merch like the hat that I'm wearing right here at bluebadgecoffee.com. Rick and his crew over at Blue Badge are doing awesome things for the community as well. Those wellness programs, those peer support programs are just as critical to helping people gain resilience and helping people stay on the job and live happier, healthier lives and careers. And that's what we're trying to do over here as well. So let's get into the bulk of the show. As I said, the title of this one is The World Does Not Care. Let me start you out with a quote from our friend Marcus Aurelius. Things stand outside of us themselves by themselves, neither knowing anything of themselves nor expressing any judgment. So what Marcus is saying here is pretty simple. The universe around us possesses no consciousness. It doesn't pass judgments. It is fundamentally neutral and indifferent to our entire presence. It doesn't care. The universe doesn't act with any particular intention. It doesn't have any particular motive, whether that's to benefit us or to harm us. It truly doesn't. Rather, it is our own judgments and reactions to the world around us that actually assign it value, that actually assign it meaning, that actually assign it emotional weight. The events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation of the events, in other words, that give them meaning, that give them emotional weight, that give them value. We are all, every one of us, myself included, my wife included, we are all guilty of believing that the world is out to get us from time to time. You probably at some point today said, threw your hands up in the universal sign of F this, and said, why? Why? Like, I have the worst luck. Why is, of course there's going to be traffic because I'm driving, as if the universe gives a shit. I try not to swear on this podcast, but it felt like a good time. The universe doesn't care. It doesn't. We're all guilty of believing the world is out to get us. We all have our pity parties. We all bemoan our misfortune, our bad luck, as though the events have conspired to cause us harm. This is completely irrational. We have to acknowledge the external world's complete, utter, and inherent neutrality. Its complete and utter lack of consciousness. We've got to avoid assigning it motive. We've got to stop giving our power to something that doesn't care. We got to recognize that indifference empowers us to shape our attitudes, our actions, our reactions to life's unfolding events in a way that makes us the hero of our story, not the victim. In other words, how often do you catch all the green lights on your way to an appointment and you get there 10 minutes early? Do you think, oh, the universe is watching out for me? Man, everything's coming up roses. I'm good to go. But if you catch every red light all of a sudden, you're assigning blame. Understand the world is inherently neutral and it doesn't actually care. And I know this is like common knowledge and common sense, but you got to catch yourself doing that because it's irrational. And when we allow ourselves to do that, we outsource our well-being. We outsource our control to something that is utterly indifferent. We must become indifferent to what the universe has in store for us. We must become indifferent to those things that happen to us and focus instead on how we react to those things that happen to us. Focus instead on our actions, our reactions, our attitudes, our effort. Those are things that we do control. Those lie within us. All of these things that happen around us, the quote unquote universe, has no consciousness. It doesn't pass judgments. It doesn't want to see you win. It doesn't want to see you lose. It is fundamentally neutral and indifferent to your presence, to my presence, to everyone's presence. So it's up to us to act with good reason and with good judgment, to focus on our actions, our reactions, our efforts, and our attitudes, so that when things happen to us, good or bad, we can continue to operate with internal control, knowing that the event itself is completely indifferent. Folks, that's what I got for you for the week. Let me leave you with a journal prompt before I give my ending spiel. Take out your pen, take out your paper, write this sucker down. Is it rational to believe that the world is out to get me? Now, we of course know the answer to this is no. We of course know that the answer to this is no. But now ask yourself part 2 of this. How does a victim mindset handicap my productivity and ability? How does a victim mindset handicap my productivity and ability? Because here's the deal. Every time that we blame the universe, every time we assign blame to things, to the world around us that is indifferent to our entire presence, every time we do that, every single time that we do that, that victim mindset handicaps our own ability to be productive. It handicaps our own ability to control those things that we do control. When we give that control away, we lose it. So ask yourself those 2 questions. Is it rational to believe that the world is out to get me? And number 2, how does this victim mindset handicap my productivity and ability? Folks, we made it to Friday once again. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to support this podcast, there's a few ways that you can do so. Number 1, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called In Valor, 365 Stoic Meditations for First Responders. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you get your books. It's available on Kindle and Nook for instant download if you like to get your books that way. I don't. I prefer the paperback edition, and you can get a copy of that as well. It's about 400 pages, high-quality pages, I might add. It's a really, really nice book. It's got room in the margins and down below for you to do your little journal entries right in there, because in that book, there's going to be daily quotes, contextualization that's directly relatable to your job, and daily journal prompts or action items. So you can take your notes right in there. You can highlight the parts that you like if you get the paperback edition. It's available on Kindle on Amazon. You'll get it in a day or 2. So check that out. Number 2, subscribe to our Substack at thestoicresponder.substack.com for free, absolutely free. You can donate if you want to, but I don't charge anything for this. On that page, you're going to get podcasts delivered directly to your email. You're also going to get my weekly newsletter delivered to your email. So you'll get 4 podcasts a week in your email, and you will get my newsletter. It's the only place you're going to get my newsletter unless we're connected on LinkedIn. I post my newsletter on LinkedIn as well. But it's a great place to get some extra tips, tools, and tactics on Stoic leadership and personal development. And finally, number 3, easiest thing you can do to help this podcast and support this podcast is to like, share, and subscribe so that others can learn about what we are teaching here, what we are doing here, and they can find us and they can get some of this good Stoic knowledge for themselves. So, folks, as I said, maybe a bonus episode coming out this weekend, but if not, we'll see you on Tuesday. Until next time, you are out of roll. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, like, rate, and share this podcast so that we can spread the benefits of Stoicism to other first responders. It will only take you a few moments, but it can help us tremendously. Until next time, out of roll.